What if I told you the place you call home could be quietly poisoning you, and no one in power would care enough to stop it? In 1972, Lois Gibbs was a 27-year-old housewife living in a quiet neighborhood in Niagara Falls, New York. She had a husband, 2 kids, and dreams as ordinary as anyone else's bake sales, school runs, backyard barbecues. Her street looked like the perfect place to raise a family. But soon, strange things began to happen. First, her young son Michael began missing school, plagued by seizures, constant stomach pains, and headaches that left him unable to get out of bed. The doctors were baffled. There was no clear cause. Then, Lois began hearing similar stories from other parents. Kids down the block had unexplained rashes. A neighbor's child was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder. Families were quietly grieving miscarriages and stillbirths. At first, everyone chalked it up to bad luck. But deep down, Lois felt there had to be a connection. Then one afternoon, while flipping through a small local paper, she saw something that made her heart stop. Buried in a short, almost unnoticed article was a chilling fact. Her neighborhood Love Canal was built on top of a chemical waste site. Lois couldn't believe it. She needed to know more. She began knocking on doors, one by one, clipboard in hand, documenting illnesses, birth defects, miscarriages. The patterns were horrifying. Certain streets had clusters of cancer. Dozens of families had lost children. When she presented her findings to local officials, they brushed her off. The company claimed the chemicals were safely contained underground. Government agencies insisted there was no immediate danger, but Lois wasn't convinced. She gathered more data. She brought in journalists. And soon, the story began to leak into national headlines. Tests confirmed her fears. Benzene, dioxin, and other deadly chemicals were not just underground. They were in the air, the soil, even the water in people's homes. The playground where children laughed and played? It was one of the most contaminated spots of all. Still, officials hesitated. Moving hundreds of families would be expensive and politically messy. Lois decided she had no choice but to escalate. She organized protests, community meetings, even staged a sit-in at a local government office. She became the voice of a growing movement of ordinary people demanding their right to live in a safe home. Then came the moment that would make history. In 1980, Lois and a group of residents entered a federal office building. They refused to leave until the government promised to relocate all the affected families. Hours passed. The media gathered. Tensions rose. Finally, facing national outrage, the officials gave in. The families would be evacuated. Lois Gibbs' fight didn't just save her neighborhood. It led to the creation of the Superfund program, a federal system for cleaning up toxic waste sites across America. To this day, millions of people live in safer communities because one mother refused to stay quiet. And it all started with a single question. What is really happening to my neighbors? Lois Gibbs proved that you don't have to be a scientist, a politician, or a billionaire to change the world. Sometimes you just have to be the one person willing to knock on every door, until someone finally listens.